Okay. Who is this now?
This is Mr. Campbell, Kerry Campbell.
I'm going to need Mr. Solomon's case. I think that was earlier in trial. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, on Kerry Campbell. 21367770 is called. You or Kerry Campbell. Raise your right hand, sir. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any statement you make today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Lower your hand. Your attorney is here, Mr. Lane, and the state's attorney. There is a motion to revoke unadjudicated probation that was filed February 14th of last year. Are we ready to proceed on this?
We are, Your Honor.
Does the defendant waive a formal reading of this? Can we proceed in summary?
He does, Your Honor.
In summary, this motion to revoke unadjudicated probation alleges that on April 6, 2022, in this court, you were placed on 10 years deferred or unadjudicated probation for robbery. Is that all true and correct, sir?
Yes.
When was this? Is there an agreement you said?
Well, Your Honor, there was.
I don't have anything in writing.
No, it's unagreed. It's unagreed. Yes,
and Your Honor, they would move to abandon the first two allegations. They were dismissed. The cases
3, 4, 5. Three, you failed to provide verification of performing community service hours as required. Is that true or untrue?
True, Your Honor.
4, you failed to provide verification of participating in the education program for GED assistance. Is that true?
True, Your Honor.
5, you failed to abstain from the use of any all intoxicating substances, including alcohol, as you provided a urine sample on September 12th of 2022, which showed the presence of alcohol in your system. Is that true? The failure to pay court-assessed fees, it says that as of December, a year ago, you were $340 in arrears. Is that true? Were you able to pay those?
I paid it up.
Is that yeah or no? Yes or no? You were able to pay or not? If you're indigent, you can't pay. You can't really hold somebody responsible if they're trying and they just didn't come up with the money. Is that what happened?
In February 2023, he paid up everything. Is my
I'm going to skip that one then. Okay. The 7, you failed to report to the Brazoria County Probation Office on or about October 10th and November 9th, 22, as directed by the court. Is that true? And 8, you failed to report to the Jefferson County Probation Office by mail as required for the months of May, June, July, and November of 2022. Is that true? Therefore, are you pleading true to allegations 3, 4, 5, and 7, as well as 8 of this motion to revoke probation filed on February 14th of last year? Are you doing that voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently, and because those allegations are true as they are alleged? Do you understand by a violation of one or more, knowing and intentional violation of one or more conditions of probation, that would be enough to revoke your probation? Your probation could then be revoked. You could then be found guilty of this underlying offense of robbery, which is a second-degree felony, and you would be subjected to no less than 2, no more than 20 years confinement in prison.
Yes,
knowing that, do you insist on pleading true today to these allegations of violations? I find you were pleading true voluntarily. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading true. Or is there an agreement on this?
No.
I need a pre-sentence report real quickly, please, to review. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Your Honor, we're asking the court to continue him on probation on deferred probation. He has been in custody since February of 2023. What's
How
happened?
much time does he have accrued? Thank
I
you.
only had 60 days.
We're only showing
Hold on,
60
let me
days.
double check though.
Yeah, we'll double check. Go
Yes,
ahead.
Your Honor. Mr. Campbell, during COVID, he had two friends.
Oh, and
That's
I
it?
have access to that.
Well, two bad friends.
Oh,
And he went in Galveston and they shoplifted phones, iPhones. They were arrested in Galveston and they came to Jefferson County and they did the same thing here. And then they did the same thing over in Walker County for iPhones. The friend that he had was supposedly some expert. Mr. Campbell at the time lived with his three children and his wife. It's not his girlfriend, his wife. They were going to be kicked out of their apartment. He didn't have any money. And that's how that happened. He was a party. He stole two phones in Jefferson County. And it's my understanding or our contention that his co-defendant in Jefferson County either made a threat to the store clerk. And so that's how it became a robbery here in Jefferson County. He was then placed on probation. He was in Brazoria County where this was transferred to, but what
it wasn't transferring.
to Brazoria?
I don't think it was transferred. It's courtesy supervision. Is that right?
Yes, I'm sorry. Okay, Curtis.
There's a difference.
I
by law.
thought it.
Transfer means they take over the case and I lose jurisdiction.
That's
didn't happen.
my fault.
That's okay.
So he was to report by mail to Jefferson County and pay. But let me, so at the very beginning, my understanding was Galveston County said, you're going to have to do 60 days weekend time. So we started doing and successfully completed the weekend times. But what that did was neglect Jefferson County as far as doing community service. So that's kind of a little bit of an excuse of why he didn't do his community service over here. His last weekend, I think, was January of 2023. Now, in October of 2022, he was admitted to the hospital for some stomach pains. I have the actual medical records. He was admitted, and he was supposed to report at that time, but was in the hospital. Well, then he was released in November, and he was released from the hospital the same date that he was to report to probation. Is that correct? I got them mixed up as to why he went to the hospital. I'm sorry. The first one was COVID, and the second one was he couldn't breathe. I think he had panic attack or something, and that's when this alleged family assault took place. And we know the facts of that, and we can recite those if the court would like. Well, so he didn't report those two times in October and November. They were both hospital related, and it says that he wasn't reporting by mail to Beaumont. Now he claims that he actually was sending in something to Jefferson County by mail. I'm not sure why it wasn't here, but he was online paying during those times.
He just pleaded guilty under oath.
Well, yes, sure.
I mean, pleaded true to it just a second ago under oath. I don't know. Is that true or not?
It is true, Your Honor. Those were just explanations. I think the records will show that though he was not properly reporting by mail to Jefferson County, he was paying by mail online. That's our contention. So what had happened in February of 2023 is he had gotten a check, and it's our understanding that the check was then either cashed or whatever and made all the arrears current in February 2023. That's what I was told, Your Honor.
Okay.
The reason why he has since been back to Galveston and to Walker County. Walker County
What's in
Revoke,
Walker County?
yes, sure.
What's in Walker County?
It was a theft, a state jail felony theft, cell phones. They gave him 12 months state.
Another cell phone?
Yes, sure. And then Galveston County wanted, I'm told, to keep him on probation, but you know.
For what?
There was another theft in Galveston County. They gave him 180 days.
Wait, theft of what?
Cell phone. This was 3 cell phone.
Was that from the theft prior to this incident?
Right.
Okay.
So there was a theft in Galveston, and then he came here, and then he went to Walker. And I understand you on that. So that.
What do you understand?
Well, I can understand
The
your
logic that we're all
kind of
seeing displayed here on the board of a consistent pattern of, I like to steal cell phones, which are valuable, one of the more valuable possessions a person has, and it's necessary nowadays because it's the key for communicating. Nonetheless, go ahead.
Mr. Campbell is from Trinidad.
What does that mean?
Well,
they steal cell phones regularly there?
No, Your Honor.
Or is it okay to steal over?
No, Your Honor. Is
it Trinidad or Tobago? Which one? Okay, go ahead.
And I know we're asking for him to remain on probation for 10 years and to not have the conviction. He does have an immigration term. He knows that even those new felony theft convictions can get him deported, and we're aware of it. And that's why we are. I mean, he is a nonviolent person. There is something in his administrative.
Robbery is a crime of violence.
Yes, Your Honor.
That he pleaded guilty to.
And I know you know the immigration laws as well, and I know those other convictions and even the deferred robbery could get him deported. The immigration lawyer is saying he's got a 50-50 chance of staying and taking care of his children, and that's why we're asking that. The state has actually had made an offer of prison time. We were just saying, well, if we could do that, he's always going to be subject to 2 to 20, but he's been in jail for a year. I don't know if Jefferson County had a detainer on him at that time. And that was why we were where we were. He was working 2 jobs at the time as a mechanic for 6 years, and it's Spearman's Cleaning in Houston. He began in 2022. So I just the thing that happened in Brazoria County, it has been dismissed. It didn't result in an indictment or a formal charge. There just are some explanations for his delinquencies on probation. There was a plan that his sentences in the other counties not be more than a year, which could affect, I think, the immigration laws. And I don't protest to know what they are. I'm sure a felony conviction, what it is, will get them deported.
Good.
But Your Honor, if you're not inclined to do that, we are asking that he be sentenced to the lower end, 2 to 3 years.
State of Texas. Go ahead.
Well, Your Honor, call Mr. Carlos Burrell. Burrell, please state your name.
Carlos Burrell.
One of our fine Jefferson County Community Supervision probation officers. Raise your right hand, sir. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any statements you make today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Lower your hand. Thank you. Go forward.
Mr. Burrell, are you currently employed?
I'm a community supervision officer for Jefferson County.
And are you familiar with Mr. Kerry Campbell?
Hi.
Okay.
The defendant here. Right. Okay. Go ahead.
And when was he placed on probation?
Placed on probation here in Jefferson County.
April 6th. 2022.
April 6th, 2022.
I'm just hurrying things along. That really aren't contentious issues. Go ahead.
Now, as far as you've seen the allegations, he's pled true to them. What are your thoughts on him, being revoked or, as a defense is, requesting that he be continued on probation?
Well, as far as probation is concerned, we're open. We'll work with him if the judge sees fit to continue him on probation. That's what we're obligated to do as the probation department. However, he has some concerns as far as the violations and not reporting and just not being reporting, some of the things to the probation department that's required, that's outlined in its conditions of probation. Just a little bit, just such as those medical documents and things of that nature. This is my first time hearing about it. So.
Do you think he'd be someone that would be successful if left on probation?
Well, his track record has shown that
He hasn't been
he
yet.
hadn't been.
He's
So
he's just pleading true to one
being
for the
placed on
record.
probation April the 6th of 22, and then Victoria County returned this case on November the 29th of 22, just 7 months later.
Okay. Well, he's pleaded true to 5 violations. Only takes 1 of probation. Only takes 1. And go ahead.
I pass it to John.
Anything else?
Ms. Burrell, as far as the payments, do you see a payment for October, November, December, all the way up to February?
As far as the payments are concerned, he made a payment April of 22, September of 22. And then we jumped down to February of 23. He made 2 payments there. Well, actually 3 payments. So this is the printout of.
Well, what is his arrearages as of today?
This
motion was filed a year ago.
Total balance is 1154.
1,154. Okay.
Your Honor, the state would just request 3 years TDC, or in the alternative, if he's left on probation, that he be placed on straight probation, the 10 hours.
Do you want
Anybody would like to ask, Mr. Campbell, you have a chance to say something if you wish. Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I'm very sorry about what I did. I made a bad decision.
Wait, I'm listening to several bad decisions you've made concerning cell phones, which seems to be your preference to steal. Is that right? No, I mean, what was said. You've been in 3 series of thefts of cell phones. Is that right? That's yes or no?
Yes, but my preference is not to steal.
Sir?
My preference is not to steal. I was working, I was going through sometimes, and I was misled,
Misled? By whom? What were you misled on? I mean, is there anything about stealing an item that you don't understand? We all know what the elements of that are, and that's right versus wrong. Honest versus dishonest. But have you been arrested 3 separate times for cell phone thefts? Would that be fair? Don't you get an indication after 2 or 3 times of that people are taking that seriously, and that you were charged with crimes in each episode, right? Okay. Go ahead.
That's further.
No, what else?
Why do you want him to keep you on probation? What kind of assurances can we get?
Your Honor, the assurance that if you keep me on probation, Your Honor, this would never happen again. Actually, my rest of cases, I did what I had to do to make sure that I can only focus on just probation, and I wouldn't have no kind of obstacles.
Are you promising that's what you would do?
Yes, sir.
When you signed on this probation, you swore under oath that of the following, and you signed off and agreed, I agree to follow the conditions of probation imposed upon me. And I know that probation can be revoked for any violation. You made a promise then you didn't keep.
Yes, Your Honor. Can I?
Oh, but this is a real promise this time. This is really a promise.
Your Honor, can I say something? Your Honor?
Yeah.
Your Honor, back then I was in probation. I can tell my probation officer here, you know.
What you want?
I was a probation officer in Galveston.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Probation, I know it was kind of a little tough for me, but I was.
What do you mean?
Wow.
Wow. What's tough about it? It's follow the rules. I have to follow the rules. And there are a couple of things you have to do, like report. So we are supervising you. These aren't difficult. Follow the rules.
Yes, sir.
Pay promptly. Your payments back that you owe. Those are the kinds of rules I have to follow too. But how old of a man are you, sir?
45.
You're 25. Yeah, you've been adult for 7 years, and you were placed on a 45. Well, I was 45. So it's not like you don't understand. You were put on probation not 2 years ago. So you were 43 years of age. You were intelligent enough and mature enough to understand the consequences by not following the rules. And this is a crime of violence, robberies. And you have been arrested 3 times for cell phone misuse. And you don't seem the kind of person who's so dense and dim-witted that you don't appreciate and understand that thefts of cell phones are treated seriously. They are. But you keep making the same choices and bad choices. Anything else anybody wants to add?
Nothing from the bench, Your Honor.
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
If nothing further, I'm going to find that there is sufficient evidence supporting this motion to revoke unadjudicated probation to grant it by a preponderance of the evidence or greater. Has allegations 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8 have been proven true in this motion? Your deferred or unadjudicated probation is hereby revoked. Earlier in this case, you pleaded guilty voluntarily. You were mentally competent to do so. You understood the consequences of pleading guilty. There's sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1 admitted here to find at the time of the entry of the plea to support your plea to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That was deferred. Your probation is revoked. I now hereby find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt based upon that original plea hearing in this case. You were hereby found guilty of the 2nd-degree felony of robbery. I am following this suggestion by the state. You were found guilty, sentenced to 3 years confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Anything else to add? That is all.
None from defense.
What else, Kevin, do you have?
Your Honor, I think that's all I had.
Okay, that is all. Thank you.